And thanks for being with us here on Morning Live. Now, while the Eastern Cape continues with its investigations into alleged COVID-19 tender corruption, more claims have emerged implicating government officials. According to the Herald newspaper in the province, 10 people employed by the state and the husband of the province's transport MEC, Gxothiwe Tikana, have secured contracts worth a combined 24 million rand to supply personal protective equipment. The Eastern Cape Treasury has released details of COVID-19 procurement, and we invited them to join us in this conversation. However, we've received no confirmation of their participation to date. So if the Eastern Cape Department wants to join us for this interview, give us a shout. We'll still include you. Alternatively, we'll speak to you at a later stage. But with us right now is Herald journalist who's been following the story, Nomazima Nkosi. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much, Sakina, for having me.
Nomazima, let's start with your investigations and how exactly you were able to unearth these details.
So, as we know, on Monday, the Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury released the list of its PPE procurement list. The Provincial Treasury released the list in line with Finance Minister Tito Mbowene's call for the province to be more accountable and show transparency. And from the list of names that were provided by the provincial government, we managed then to see who were some of the people that stood out, and we managed to do our own investigations and obviously confirm with the said people and the Provincial Treasury team as well.
So how many of those companies actually belong to government officials as far as you were able to establish?
So far, what we were able to there were 7 companies spread across the province that belong to state employees. So obviously it was quite an extensive list. So as we go along, I'm sure we'll find out more.
And Nomazima, how cooperative has government been, the Eastern Cape government, when you were trying to get details and trying to verify these findings that you are telling us about?
So they were the ones who initially took releasing the list. And as mentioned, we sent out media queries, and they responded. They were very responsive. The Premier, Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane, has been on a tip of trying to be transparent, on trying to gain public confidence, and that the public, following the allegations of corruption relating to PPE, have somewhat lost some trust in government. So they've been trying rather to be more transparent in terms of the public accessing information, and they've promised to do more of this. So looking forward to seeing.
And with regard to the companies that are involved, those that you have been able to link to some of these government officials, how has that process been for you, Nomazima? Have they been cooperative? How has it been like?
As we reported yesterday, the husband of MEC Gxothiwe Tikana responded basically saying that he's done nothing wrong. He successful businessman prior to him marrying the MEC, and stating that he declared it fully. He declared it to the department where he was hired to procure PPE for, and basically stating that he's done nothing wrong, and answered all the Herald's media queries. So far, people have been responding. People have been responding.
So have you been able to establish the veracity of this situation whereby he says he actually did disclose his relationship with the MEC, etc.?
It's ongoing, but I think my colleague Michael Kimberley was the one who wrote that article. But as I said, there were a lot of oddities in terms of the names that were supplied on the list. So as mentioned, there were a lot of oddities, and more investigation still needs to go into the list that was supplied to us.
Well, officials who work for a government, Nomazima, cannot do business with government. And as you said, you've established at least 10 of them who were involved in these procurement deals. What has been said about that, firstly by the Eastern Cape government or Treasury, and of course by themselves, if you have been able to speak to them?
So far, we haven't been able to just got the sun in my face. So far, we haven't been able to get comment. It's something that we are following up on, as it's not illegal, I suppose, for people who are related to politicians and officials from the state to do business with government. But as you know, that there have been outcry from South Africans who are saying that too often politically exposed people get preferential treatment and they get tenders over normal South Africans. So this is something that we're looking into. We'll be definitely doing more stories stemming from that list that was released on Monday.
And of course, I see the Western Cape Treasury, they've actually released their list of companies who have actually received and done business with that state, with that government, rather, I should say, in terms of procurement of COVID-19 related personal protective equipment. Eastern Cape, when are they going to release their list?
The list came out on Monday. That's where our story came from. The list was released by Provincial Treasury on Monday, and from that, then we were able to deduce and find out who these people are. And so we've done some stories where even here in the municipality, through a leaked procurement list, we found relatives of councillors who had benefited from the PPE procurement. We found former mayors doing business with the municipality. So these are ongoing investigations that we as a Herald are also doing.
So just on those preliminary findings, has anyone been suspended as yet, or are they still investigating at this stage?
There's still investigations. You know, when the president's spokesperson, Kusela Dikwa, and the health MEC in Gauteng, Bandile Masuku, took leave of absence, the Gauteng Premier took swift action with, and it's something that I suppose South Africans and residents in the Eastern Cape would have hoped that the Premier here would have done. But obviously, as you know, it's investigations upon investigations. And so we're hoping that maybe, I don't know, that the MEC could also take it upon itself, maybe to take leave of absence until these investigations are done. So it's not the first time that MEC Tikana has sort of been in the spotlight when it comes to COVID-19 procurement. We saw this in April with a B&B that was owned by her daughter, where several quarantine patients were. So there's been it's not the first time that MEC Tikana has been in the spotlight this year. There have also been calls for her to step aside while investigations are ongoing. So it's something that we'll see. We'll see what happens as it unfolds.
Well, let's leave it there for the time being. Thanks so much, Nomazima Nkosi, who reports for the Herald, talking to us about the allegations of irregularities in the procurement processes of COVID-19 supplies in the Eastern Cape. All right, we're going to take a quick break.